Welcome back to another edition of In Case You Were Wondering. So today I'm going to address another common pain point that comes up a lot that you guys ask me about a lot that isn't specific to parenting, but it certainly impacts parents. But you don't have to be a parent to feel it, and that is worrying a lot. Someone who has constant ruminating thoughts where you're just in this loop of either negative self-talk or always predicting the worst case scenario, always looking at things as if they're not going to work out, and really carrying a big mental load is what I call it. So I'm going to walk you through the way I've sort of processed this for myself and the way that I help clients through it. But I think it's important to first and foremost, when we're in that state, the very first place to start is just bringing awareness to it. So just recognizing that you're in a loop, recognizing that you're worrying constantly about something that you likely don't have any control over, right? So the first place we always want to start when we're in our head, when we're in our thoughts, when we're constantly giving that so much attention, we just have to almost zoom out and recognize we're in this state where we are in this loop, in this sort of space where our energy is just really being wasted, if I'm being honest. Because if we think of worrying really doesn't benefit anybody, and there is no gain when we stay stuck in a worrisome pattern. We usually worry about outcomes we can't control. We worry about things that we don't get to decide. We worry when the circumstance is not exactly the way we want it. And all worrying does is it pushes us into a future place that hasn't arrived. So now we're giving all of our energy to this distant future that we've envisioned that might not be real. And we're losing a lot of our presence up there, over there, right? Same thing when we stew or ruminate about things that have already happened. We are losing our ability to stay anchored in the present moment. So first and foremost, if you're somebody who can quickly get swept away with these types of thoughts, and it's really common and it's really understandable, I want you to know the first place to start is creating awareness. And the way we create awareness is by starting to get present in the moment. So if I'm in a pattern of looping thoughts, let's say it's something like, oh my goodness, what if this project I'm working on doesn't work out? What if nobody wants it? What if people reject the idea? What if I embarrass myself? What if I fail? Right? Those are all these things that a lot of people might think about. What if I'm judged? What if I'm embarrassed? So if I stay in those thoughts, I'm really preventing myself from staying anchored and present and really allowing what needs to come in to come in. So instead, in that moment, I'm going to pause. Right? I teach a 4-step process called PAR. PAR is useful for not just parents. It's really a great tool to help you get present and to find stillness in moments that feel chaotic. So you're going to just pause. And I want you to do something that anchors you in the present moment. So it can be thinking about the way you're breathing. So just observing your breath. It could be rocking on your feet. It could be taking your hands and rubbing them together. It could be looking at 5 things in your physical environment and just naming them, but you just need a way to get out of those looping thoughts. And then stay really anchored. So once we have some awareness around our looping thoughts, the next place that I go when I'm in this sort of state, the next thing that I'll do then is I'll usually ask myself, what is mine to carry and what is not mine to carry? So 9 out of 10 times, we end up absorbing everyone else's problems. And if you are like me, like I'm a self-proclaimed fixer, I always want to make things better. When that happens, we tend to absorb a lot of things that really aren't ours to fix and aren't ours to carry. Even though we love the people we're doing it for, they're not our thing to do. So when you have a way of filtering through that, right? Let's say you have adult kids and you're recognizing that they're just making a choice that's likely, in our opinion, not going to work out the way that they think it will. If I get in there and I keep badgering them and bothering them and telling them to change their mind and to do something else, and here's my advice, I've been through it, I have more wisdom, whatever the thing is that we want to say, what am I actually taking away from them when I rob them of that experience? It's really, really hard, but more often than not, when we're jumping in to fix someone else's problem, it's more about meeting our own needs around the discomfort we're feeling rather than meeting the needs of the other person, which is that person needs to have that experience. So really filtering through, and this is accurate for younger children too, but this is where you really want to anchor and ask yourself, what is for me to fix and solve and what is for me to let go? So when we have a way of asking ourselves those things, we can really release the things that don't need our attention. So for me, the way that looks is when that funnels back in, when that thought hits me again of like, uh-oh, you've got to fix that, I can right away say to myself, oh no, I already know about that problem. That's not mine to fix. And we can release that. I can let that go. So when we have awareness, when we bring some attention to what is mine to carry and what isn't, we can start to really decide what do we want to commit our mental energy to, our emotional energy to. And when you can do that, you get really clear and steady around what is yours and what can you let go of, right? And the last thing I'll leave you with is most of us really pride ourselves on being multitaskers. When I taught myself to stop multitasking, I cannot tell you how much my output changed. The quality of what I started to do became a million times better. My attention to things was better. My ability to stay present was stronger. So anytime we start to get in the habit of multitasking, and by the way, to some extent, there are some things you can multitask that aren't hard to do. I'm not here to say like all multitasking is bad. I can listen to a podcast and I can fold laundry at the same time, and it works out. I'm not struggling in those moments. So I don't want to come here and say like we have to be in this like meditative state every time we're doing something. That is not it. But what I am getting at is if you're somebody who is trying to do 5 to 6 things at one time, insisting that you're sort of having to multitask because you're so busy, I want you to pause and sit with that. And I want you to really look at what needs your immediate attention. That's where I would start. Release everything else. When you start to do that, your efficiency will improve and you will tend to the thing that needs your immediate attention. And then you will be able to transition to the next task, to the next task. And 9 out of 10 times when we do this, I guarantee you all the things that you were putting on your plate to multitask, I would say maybe 3 of the 5 probably aren't even necessary to tend to. We just tell ourselves that we get in these patterns. So again, this is a really ideal practice in creating awareness around your thoughts, what matters, what really can be released. If you watched my last video, you know I talk a lot about this idea of what can we release in order to welcome. So that's what I'll leave you with today. You guys leave me comments and questions. I do offer transformation sessions. You have to email me if you want to book one of those. They're 90 minutes. They're a one-time call. They're not specific to parenting. If you have parenting challenges, you can reach out to me and I will guide you through that and tell you where we want to go. But transformation sessions are more about the internal shifts we need to make in order to let go, face the blocks that are in our way, change our patterning, and release the stories that keep us stuck.